Man, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I just got back from the doctors right now to get some clearance and some good news. So that went good. And yeah, I've just been locked in with the recovery and still doing, as much as I can with training. And for what it is, I'm doing pretty good. And I'm excited to move forward with getting on the bike and getting back into racing. So
That's awesome. So good things from the doc. All good to go for Rock Hill.
yeah, so I just got clearance just, with everything we've been doing. Solid, it's only been about 6 weeks, and I broke it in 4 places. So he's pretty stoked on everything with, the riding, the gym stuff I've been doing. And he pretty much said it's looking, like 100%. I did some movements with him today, and yeah, so it's definitely good news. And obviously it's still, based on me with how I'm feeling, but with what I've done on the track and some of the gym stuff, I feel good. And so, that's the biggest thing is just how I feel. So it's good news.
That's good, man. Dude, I gotta say, I was like skeptical. I was like, man, did he really hurt himself in Phoenix? And then you posted the video of Drew actually slamming India. I'm like, oh yeah, he messed himself up. Like,
yeah.
like,
I didn't even know either. Like, obviously I was like in super bad pain when I got hit, and I was like, oh shit, like that like hurt super bad. Cause when I crashed initially, I was like, oh, sick. Like I'm perfectly fine. Like whatever, made it out. Like we were going fast. I blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like 5 seconds later, I was in the worst pain I've ever been in. It was like this, like just flat punch to the back of my freaking back. And then I was just like, I like thought I like blew up my kidney or something. Like I didn't even ever feel that pain. And then overnight, had pains, bought a heating pad, slept on the heating pad all night, and then woke up. Larson and Andre just taped me to probably all the tape I had left. And I was having like this weird burning pain, but it felt like more muscular. So I didn't even really know I had like obviously fractures. And then I got work on by Mike from USA BMX, and he was like doing nerve work, and we tried pretty much everything. And then I did the races. And then the next day I was like, all right, bro, like this is, because I drove home, and then I was like, got out of bed, and I was like, I know I can push through shit, but like this is like pretty kind. And then I went in and I got like some, movement stuff done by the chiropractor, and she was just like, I know you give reactions, but today you're kind of giving me some more reaction than normal. Let's just get x-rays. And then showed I had breaks in 4 places. So like they were even surprised on me even riding everything. So it was honestly a trip, because I was going to get on the flight. I like just barely got myself to like, yo, just go in, get adjusted, like whatever. And she's like, well, I don't want to adjust you, blah, blah, blah. And then boom, I broke it. So like I legit almost got straight onto the flight and just went no matter what, which probably could have rode, but it would have not been good at all. Right. But yeah, it was just crazy how it all happened and bunched up. It was just one thing, boom, boom, boom. And then, it was broken. And it was definitely not like a easy injury. It was definitely pretty severe. Like when they told me and they were like, you rode, like they like scared me. And I was like, oh, what do you mean? Like it was, and it's funny, cause I like call my dad. I'm like, yo, dad, I broke my back. And broke your back? Like, son, can you walk? And I'm like treating it like it's like I broke my finger or something. And like, I didn't realize obviously it's that, it's your back, but it was just crazy because I treated it like it was just like some normal thing when it's, it's kind of not.
Right. Dude, well, it's good that you went and got checked out. I mean, I can't imagine you said it's been 6 weeks. So if you went over, heard it more, it'd be, never know. It could be 6 months. That's good.
And that was the biggest thing, was that it was fractured like in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was just like the stability of it. Like if me doing the stuff on the bike and all of that, just it would have been less stable in certain areas. So it just could have gotten worse easier than if it was like one or an area up here and an area down here. That would have been, but it was just so in a row that it was more of a risk than it wouldn't be. So it sucked missing out on the World Cups and, a lot of the goals and the stuff that I had for those races and to go, out there and perform. But I mean, I used the time as wisely as I could to figure out, a lot of the stuff, that I needed to work on or what I could work on. And I'm bummed that I didn't race, but I'm also, happy that I've, stayed focused and figure out ways to improve, to come back even better. So
definitely. Yeah. I think that's kind of that's been your story for, the past 2 years of just finding those different things to get better, get healthier, come back to the racing scene, to do better just for yourself and for the people that support you. So obviously we saw it with your weight loss after your elbow. But even before that, I mean, you came back into racing after being away from it at what, 17, 18?
Yeah, about 17. I came back into 1720, or it was 1927. I raced a little bit and then it turned into 1720. So
Yeah,
I was, yeah, about, I did 1 year, 17, 18, 19, 27. So yeah, I guess 18, 17, 18.
gotcha. Yeah, and then off to pro and just doing your thing. That's awesome. Um,
Yeah.
well, with it being such a big year in BMX in general, but really for your kind of pro career, what are the goals for this year? Obviously, some got put on the back burner after the injury, but what are the goals right now?
I mean, obviously the goals right now is just to get back on my bike. That's goal number one. Still the goal obviously is to put myself in, the position to make the Olympics, which it still is an open opportunity. I might have less opportunity than everybody else with, missing a bunch of races, but the door is still open with, some continental champs and 2 of the World Cups in Tulsa. So that's, one of my goals obviously is to perform in those races and at least put myself in the position to know that I, even if I don't do it, at least put myself in a position to go out there, perform, and know that if I did have those other opportunities and those extra races, I could have did it, or, maybe go out there and win or podium those races and put myself in the position to go. So that's definitely still a big goal of mine. And I still doing everything I can to do that. Other than that, really, put myself in the pro title. I've always wanted to do that. And, this year I feel like I started off strong enough. I still want to get some wins under my belt and, a few more good finishes, but definitely, be up for the pro title and, execute, a good grands and put myself in the position to be able to win that. And really, other than that, just kind of take my YouTube and my merch and everything to the next level and, just stay healthy and keep doing what I'm doing. And yeah, just win more races and have a lot of fun. That's my biggest goals really is all 3 of those, but definitely just winning races and staying healthy and just, kind of doing what I know I can do and, kind of show my potential that I've, always had and just actually do it.
That's sick, man. That's sick.
My
Yeah, I think
camera's blurry, huh?
it is. It looks like you look like you're
It
in the
like,
witness protection program.
yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes it gets like, I have like a good camera too. Wait, let me see if I turn it off. Is it still blurry? No, it looks
No,
clear,
you're
huh?
good. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Hopefully it stays like that. There it goes.
No.
All right, cool. My bad. I don't know why it always does that. Like, I guess if I get closer and it focuses on something, it just does it. But all right, we're good
You're
now.
all good. You're all good. Um, yeah, man. I mean, like you said, the door's still open for that Olympic dream. I think what you said about just being in the title, I think that's what I see as like my biggest excitement for you. Like, obviously, you're in second right now behind Cam, and that's just from 2 podiums, 3 podiums.
2, and then I had the 4th, and then I guess whatever place I got when I crashed. But
Right.
yeah, so nothing even crazy. But since the points are the 10-point differences with the finishes, it's not like expert anymore or pro back in the day where
Right.
the rider count finishes are a big deal. So even if you go in there with probably all seconds or even a couple thirds, a few firsts, like it's not like the big difference where it used to be like, say, the person that won Oldsmar with 42 riders would be this far ahead. So it's like,
Yeah.
almost there could be 4 or 5 people up for the title at a time now, more than before. So it's pretty crazy, but it's also pretty cool.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun part of the Olympic year that people kind of drift their focus. So some of the guys that maybe aren't on that Olympic path or are just racing everything, they can shine in that. I mean, what do you see on maybe just some of those younger kids? Like what do you see in the series? Like I think it's definitely been a younger class past couple years.
Yeah,
Obviously, we still got the Joris and Sylvain
yeah,
coming
yeah.
over to race, but some of those young bucks, I think you included, are really making a name for you guys' self.
Yeah, I think like there's definitely been showings of a few young people and like I mean someone like Cam, taking it serious at, the age he did with Sam. And obviously it showed that if you take it, to that level, you can do it at a young age. And, obviously there's days where I wish I kind of done that, at 19, 20 and really stepped in like how I'm stepping in now. But definitely it's cool to see, a lot of us kind of at the top more than normal. Like even like the last few races, like me, Larson, or a few other people, Jeremy, or like just different people that we've been, kind of itching that surface for a while. I think it's pretty cool to see, just like that. It's kind of transitioning like pretty legit now. Like I think over
Yeah.
the next few years, that's what we'll see even more, even like some of the younger guys, obviously younger than us. with Yoris and a few of the guys, kind of moving out, if Yoris ever does.
He probably won't.
Yeah, I mean, it's fast. There's no reason not to. But just, yeah, I think it's cool to see, just our names in the mix more than normal, and just kind of, understanding that we kind of can be on top of the game. It's just about actually doing it. And, we've always kind of treated those guys like they were, somebody else. But at the end of the day, they're just like us. They just have more experience and more, pretty much everything in that situation of, understanding the big moments, the smart moments, everything. And I feel like we're kind of catching on to all of those, and it's just kind of coming together for us as where, like I said, it's, been a weird transition the last couple of years with still a lot of those top guys racing, which we should have, been able to get in there. Like, some of the people have, but I mean, like I said, for me, I just feel like I never really took that leap of like really doing this BMX stuff like I am. And I feel like it's coming around now, but like for the people that did, like it did show, like Isaac, Cam putting themselves at top of races, and even Larson. And so it's super cool just to know that, like, if it's happening now, it's definitely, I feel like it's going to keep rolling over at least until, 2028, 2029. And when we feel like, it's time to put the bike up. So it's pretty cool. It's a trip, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been one of the favorites for, I mean, at least 8 years for a lot of the guys run it. Like, just because you have a good vibe, your social media presence is great. Your style on the track it's sets you up enough. But now with that training that you're doing, it just, it improves everything. You're obviously you're lighter, but you're also your social is more motivational, I think, just from that weight loss perspective.
No, for sure.
Hey, I'm doing this. Like, that's
well,
it's
and
sick.
it's something too. I think, like, for the younger kids, I think like a big example that I really like to push. That's why, I don't post just to post that I'm in the gym, or I post that I'm doing this. Like, my biggest thing is really just to like show kids that, like, obviously, I've told my story a few times, not very much, but like, I didn't really have much, in the way that I've kind of made things happen was just based off my talent and, people believing in me. And so, like, that's why I try to show that so much, even to the point where I'm at now, is because, like, it's all just, the hard work. And so, like, I've always had the talent, and especially the last 2 years of showing, the work, the national champs, breaking my elbow, that comeback, and now this one. Like, the biggest thing is just showing, like, if you have the talent, like, you can add the hard stuff easy. Like, the training is the easy part. Like, you go out and do gym, that's easy. You go out and do sprints, that's easy. You go do that. And I think that's why I like to showcase it so much, is just to show that, like, yeah, I've had the talent, I've had the skill, and yeah, I've maybe put myself on podiums or won races, but now, like, doing that extra step that, everyone, pretty much does now in this level of the sport, it's just like icing on the cake. And so it's just like, if you have the talent, it's just, you really just got to do the work. And that's where I try to just show that to people, that, like, there's no, like, I can't just like hook myself up to the computer and I'm just like, boom, faster. It's like all those days, count. And, I think it's cool to be able to showcase that and be as open as I am, just because, like, it's never been easy with even just life stuff, but now with the situations with injuries and stuff like that, it's also more motivational. But yeah, I think it's just cool to show that, if you have talent and you want to take advantage of it, it's only up to you. As many people has always told me, like, you have this, you have that, you ride better than people, you do this. Like, yeah, it was cool, you told me that, and I felt like it was sick. But now that I'm like trying to execute on top of that, it's just like they say, like, the talent, whatever, hard work beats talent. Like, that stuff is, actually true. It's just funny when all those sayings that people tell you that, like, actually come true when you get older. You're like, damn, some people were right. And but yeah, I think that's the cool part, is just showcasing, the hard work on top of talent, and it can all come together. It's just, if you really, do it yourself, nobody can, do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people can relate to that, because even in my own, like, I've seen kids at the track that have more skill, more like, when they're, 10, 12, yeah, their talent's going to take over. But then when you hit that 13, 14, puberty hits, like, that hard work is 100% going to be the main factor to doing.
And I totally got, like, my eyes open, when I first turned pro. Like, I had the skill, I could ride better. I did good at the Rock Hill World Cup, just based on, me pushing and passing people. And then, like, as a consistent, pro racing through those years, still, like, doing whatever I wanted with my friends, hanging out or whatever, like, taking it to, training at the track or doing sprints here and there, gym, whatever, like, getting my ass beat and getting like fifth in a moto. I'd be like, bro, like, what the like, there's just no way. And then, like, I kind of had to go through that because I was, not taking it as serious as everybody else. And they, see what they were doing and they were performing. It was like, like, man, I just don't want to like do that anymore. But like definitely going in that window is like it was rough just because I was like, man, I still want to have fun. I want to skate, I want to ride trails, or I want to go do all this stuff, which I still can now, but obviously it's more limited if I want to do the stuff that I want to do right now. But yeah, definitely it's just crazy because yeah, I definitely got my eyes open when it was just like, oh, I can do this based on, I'm good at riding. No, there's like, I mean, now the level of training and the seriousness of our sport with, all these countries taking it to the next level is like, it's a lot harder to have that extra fun or do the extra, stuff that you want to do if you're not training on top of it. So like now I do the training now, finish my gym sprints, whatever. Then I'll go skate park for a little bit if I want to, or like instead of I'll just skate today, or like, just that type of stuff. So it's really crazy how our sport has turned into like how serious it is. And I'm kind of like late to the game to, trying to be on that, but I'm happy that I am now. And I feel like I have a, a good solid few years ahead of me. And that's where it's like, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. I mean, like, something Connor said, I want to say 2 years ago or something, just off the cuff of like, I mean, these kids got to act like this is their job. What are you doing?
No, for sure.
What are you doing day by day that's going to help you on the track? And like, it kind of opened my eyes once I saw your like full on training, like taking it seriously, losing the weight, doing that day by day by day stuff. Like that's huge. Do you think that's like a widespread throughout the pro ranks, or do you think only like a couple people are doing it here in the US?
I mean, in the US, I feel like it's a little bit harder to find that motivation to really take it to that level, just because you see how like the other countries are kind of, they're pushing those younger kids to get on those supercross tracks a lot younger. They're kind of more structured towards like understanding that pro is, either your goal or it's not. Like we don't really, like we have a bigger like amateur series and a bigger, situation where you can kind of have more fun with it than those other countries, which they still have fun, obviously, but like they're kind of pushing it, towards like, oh, we see you have the skill. Like we're gonna like, we can see that. And so I definitely think that it's just kind of hard to understand. It's just one thing that we're like, I feel like if you, especially kids like in high school, like if you're in high school and you still want to have fun, it's really hard to kind of take it at this level. Like if you want to go to, prom or those dances or those football games and, like there's a national that weekend, or, you have football practice, but you want to go hang out and still go to the track. Like, I feel like it's so hard with so much going on to kind of take it as serious as that. But, I feel like there is a good group of us that are now in the US, which I mean, there probably has been like, Connor, Corbin, but those are the ones that obviously stuck out. So like, I definitely think there's a good group of us now, and I hope that it kind of continues as, like the USA BMX is more in the USA cycling. We have the headquarters. There's so much like kind of opportunity that like, I guess wasn't there as much as before. So I think it kind of will be a little easier for people to take it serious. And that's why, like I said, even me trying to show them, like if you do take it serious, you can, do what you want to do. And yeah, I think it will keep going and keep growing, especially just because, we have a big series in the US that most places don't. The national series, we have like 12 to 14 races, which is crazy, which is super fire. And then obviously there's just so many top-notch facilities now that it's like if you want to do it, you can do it. It's not like it was just Chula and you couldn't get into Chula anymore. Like you can have every opportunity now. So I feel like, yeah, I think it will keep going and more people will take it serious. And I just, yeah, like I said, it's just so much bigger than it was, and there's so many different places to do it at. So yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet. Well, let's shift to the race coming up that you just got cleared for, Rock Hill.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not a Pro Series race, but it's that 2 UCI days to do some Olympic point hunting, and then that elite national championship. So, obviously, you're the reigning champ from last year, from here in Tulsa, going into the national or the elite national champs this year. I mean, how are you feeling? Obviously, that injury, but like, what's going through your thoughts?
So the biggest thing really is, I mean, I've obviously pushed it to get back as fast as possible. National champs is obviously important to me just because I don't want to like just hand over, what I worked for last year and the way that I did it. I feel like I'm in a lot better shape. I feel like I'm more prepared, like actually showing up and, feeling like I can win like I did that day. But the biggest thing before that is those 2 UCI races are really big for me just because, I missed a lot of the World Cups that really count towards, the world's points to really make the team. So those two HCs, which are big and they're usually, kind of spread out in different places and not back to back, kind of gives me the opportunity to, if I go out there and perform, I can put myself back on the world's team. So that's, the biggest goal. Obviously, I want to win national champs. That's the third day. But my biggest goal is to perform those first 2 days to get enough points to put myself back into one of the world spots. And that's why I've done pretty much everything, stayed focused, just because it was such a short period of time. But yeah, I mean, I definitely am ready for national champs. I feel ready. I might get a little tired after a couple laps, but I mean, that's normal. But realistically, when I rode the other day, I honestly felt, if not better, and, a little bit leaner, stronger, mentally, just very prepared. And, I've just kind of stayed focused. So I definitely am ready to win. And that's my goal. I'm not going there to, just to go, or else I wouldn't, rush this and put as much time as I have to recover. But yeah, the biggest thing is those two HCs and performing at those. And then obviously, trying to keep my sleeve, and, I don't want to make a bunch of new jerseys. So that's my biggest goal.
Right. So I keep hearing you say something, you feel good after you come back. Like, you got an injury, you're doing PT, working back for it, and you feel even better. I found that PT opens up like a whole new avenue of workouts that I never knew existed. Like, every 100%. Time with this back injury, what kind of workouts are you finding that are, beneficial? You're seeing some big improvements, because the back, I mean, that's huge for gate starts. Like, that's.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was just a lot like, the first couple of weeks obviously were rest and, the recovery tools that I was using and, pretty much everything like that. But definitely, a few more like, hip flexor mobility movements, like banded hip flexor stuff, all the glute stuff, like really just attacking all the stuff that connects around there, which, I mean, I'm sure I already was, but not as, strategic and, pinpointed as I've been doing. So I feel like that's been a big plus, just kind of strengthening those, glutes, hip flexors, like random things, with the band holds and like, just stuff that I would have, never did if I didn't have to. And now, like, I feel like that stuff I'll implement moving forward. So it honestly was just a good thing in general. Like you're saying, I found out, stuff that I feel like I wouldn't have done or I didn't think I would do. And I think those are the major things. And then obviously it was just more of like, keeping everything stable and, just, it was pretty tough to do, a lot of things, but I did everything I could, which is, mostly stuff like that and just kind of like mobility work. So yeah, that was pretty much it. But I definitely found some of the stuff during that I'll just keep doing to do in general. And yeah, I definitely feel like with injuries, you do find out different ways to get stronger without even knowing. And also the rehab's honestly harder. Like, I was dying when my rehab, like, it's just, it's so tough and mentally challenging. And like, I even had a tool, it's called the BFR, and it like, restricts my blood flow, and it like is like the worst like lactic acid feeling. And I would have to do some of my workouts in that. And it was honestly like the most mentally challenging stuff I've ever did. And it was like, I've been training for the last, I've been training for years, but the last two, just how serious I've taken it. Like, I was like legit, like having to like think of like Kobe and motivation, like there, you got to push through like till you pass out. Like it was insane. But yeah, definitely just, you do stuff that you don't think you would normally do. And you just kind of learn from those situations on, stuff that you might want to do moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome. Sorry, we got a little distracted from the race day, but
yeah, you're
good. Going back just to Rock Hill in general, how have you done at the Carolina and Fall Nationals, in the couple years past?
So I've done decent. I think the last one, I'm pretty sure it was after Argentina, if I'm correct, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the last one before Grands.
Yeah. So the last one, I will say, I got on the bike, I mean, 4 days before I left to Argentina. So straight to a Supercross race. And it wasn't that I wasn't fast enough. You could just tell I was like timid on, pushing through and riding like I really could. So I feel like in Rock Hill, like I had the speed. I had some of the, quickest hill times with everybody, or at least around it, which I usually don't. I was putting myself closer in that, and even down the first straight, being smart. And I pretty much just got kind of unlucky with getting pushed over the first turn, and then just kind of being like unaggressive on those jumps. Like that's my strength. So I wouldn't say that I did the best, but it wasn't that I didn't do the best because I wasn't fast enough. It was just like I got into everything so quickly that like that race, kind of speed, I still had a little bit of that, like pushing into something, like a little nerve. And, like that was just something that kind of held me back. But I've always, had the, good track speed there. And I like that it actually has jumps besides the, first jump now and the first straight, but really, having a lot of jumps and, a big wide open track. I'm definitely excited now with, me being confident, on my bike and, prepared to, fight for positions and not overthink like I was that year. So I won't say that I did terrible. I just didn't do the best because I honestly just kind of rushed getting back on the bike, which is, fine. But I definitely, yeah, like I said, just didn't feel like I was pushing through the jumps or riding like myself when I would watch the videos. And I was just like, who is that guy? And so like, it was weird, but it wasn't that I was slow. It was just, I just really like, you could see that I wasn't like attacking or pushing through backsides. And like, I was just like floating and it was super weird, but it was, yeah, I think I just kind of rushed that comeback. But like I said, it wasn't that I did bad. I wasn't really prepared to like throw elbows and fight for those positions. And I would back down and it was just, cautious racing. So now I'm ready to, I'm just ready to go to war.
Yeah, he's getting after it. He's getting after it.
Yes, sir.
Dude, we're excited for this next weekend. Should be a great one. Like you said, the UCI Sunday, or I guess Friday, Saturdays are going to be huge for you guys.
Yeah.
Pumped to see it. And with it being the national champs on Sunday, I don't see a too crazy of a foreign, invasion coming over. But it's going to be a good group that's going to, I mean, like you said, going to battle and going to get after it.
I think it's going to be mostly, the Colombians since they're close, us. The Swiss kind of locked in a good, position for themselves. So I doubt they'll come out. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be super big, but it's going to be, sometimes that's even worse. Cause then like, it's just stacked from the back first moto and,
Right.
which is good, like that's what I want to do. I want to be racing, in those, big moments and the best people and the fast people. And if that starts off first moto, then that's just what I need to get back in the groove. And yeah, I think it's going to be some good racing though. It's going to be just fun. And it's weird because it's like not a national. So like, it's like almost like more of like a chill vibe, but obviously it's almost more serious than a national. So it's like, it's kind of weird, but it's cool. Cause like, I'm obviously like rolling in, and for me, it's for the world's point. So it's more serious than probably a lot of people, but yeah, like it's like kind of weird. Like it's pretty sick though.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you said that first round thing, because we got a question on our Instagram story of what's the most stacked first race or first round that you've had in your pro career.
I don't know if I have a first round, but I will say when I raced that Rock Hill World Cup and it was like my first like elite race, I'll never forget like when I went in, I like just qualified, I won the LCQ and I was like, oh yeah, like I'm going crazy. And then I like went and read the 16th and I shit you not, I'm pretty sure it was like me, Alfredo, David Graff, Sylvain Andre, like I can't even think. It was like pretty much everybody. And I like legit read it. And like everyone even posted that picture of that like thing was like, this is the main or this is the semi. And it was like, I mean, I was still young. I was just like out there trying, I'm going to do my best. But like instantly when I read it, I was like, well, they just kind of like, screw, they just don't want me to make it, I guess. Like,
like had a great LCQ, boys. Had a great LCQ.
Yeah. And so I that's one that I can really think of that like stands out, because I'll never forget when I read it. I was just like I read it like 10 times. Like there's no way they put my name on this one. So I got to look for it. But yeah, it was insane. Other than that, usually the first motos aren't too bad just because they have to spread everyone out by their ranking and stuff. And then USA BMX, it's not been too bad the last couple years, but definitely, yeah, that one stands out the most just because I swear I never forgot when I read it. I was like, there's just no way.
So I'm thinking back to the gnarliest one I've seen. It was Houston last year. I think on Saturday, first round was Cam, Joris, Isaac, Neek, and then like one other guy from Canada that I didn't know. I'm like, oh, dude, you're screwed. Like that's
that's the worst one that you want to wake up and see, especially first moto. Like obviously you're gonna try and pop one off and you're getting in the groove, but like you're still kind of just like, all right, let's wake up, let's get everything going. But then when you read one like that, you're like, all right, let's hit some sprints in the parking lot. Let's fire everything up. Like we got to be ready to start, like pop one off right now instead of like sometimes you get some chiller motos where you're like, all right, I got to pop off first straight and just kind of, keep it going. And then, you see one like that. You're like, well, I guess I got to put down a heater right now.
Yeah. This dude was in like gate 5, Joris and Cam Wood on either side of him. I'm like, dude, like that's brutal. Like,
yeah. Especially for a first moto.
Well, Anthony got a couple other questions for or from Instagram. The first one is who was your hero pro when you were growing up? Who's that one dude that you looked up to?
I mean, I definitely would say there's probably a top three. Would be Mikey Day, Bubba Harris, and Steven Caesar. Those were definitely like a top three that really, motivated me, and I wanted to, I mean, I guess be like. And then obviously there's a bunch of people that, inspired me in different ways, but I would say those three are probably the three biggest people that I felt like, I wanted to be like. And it was cool because they were like at my local track and stuff. So it was like more realistic, that they were there and I was like just that little kid. And so, yeah, I would say them for sure.
It's funny you say Caesar because I can see a lot of his style in yours. Like
Yeah,
that pickup back wheel, just that tuck, like that's Caesar all day.
yeah, definitely. If there's somebody that, like I could choose to have their style, he's definitely a top one for sure.
That's awesome. Favorite track around the world?
Oh, I mean, there's so many good ones, but I definitely think one of my favorites that I like always remember, and I think it's still to this day looks sick even with their rebuild. It's Verona in Italy. It was just so fun when I showed up, and it was three pro jumps down the second straight like it would just remind me of like old, BMX videos that I watched where like I showed up and I was like pretty nervous to ride. And I was like, whoa, I haven't felt like that. And that was when I was like riding a lot. So I was like, holy shit, like, why am I nervous? Like, this is crazy. So that one stands out. And I really liked it because it actually had, big jumps. And yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of other ones, but that's like my big standout.
I think it was the Italian team. They posted some videos of the third straight, some of the lines that they were doing.
Dude,
they were gnarly.
Yeah, the new one is crazy. They have like pull, jump on, jump manual, bump. I don't even know. It just looks like they built it off like the video game where you're like in the park just messing around editing for fun. They like actually did it in real life.
Right. It's Tony Hawk Underground just on a BMX track.
Yeah, like, literally. I saw like the box jump and I'm like, what the like it's like not even like the same roller, so you have to triple it or like man, it's sick. I like it, but definitely it's gonna catch some people like in a race. That's just gonna be crazy.
Last one here. You touched on your goals earlier, but what were some of those goals that you still haven't accomplished? Maybe from like 5 years ago that you want to hit in the next coming years.
Win a USA BMX title. Obviously, get on the Olympic team and put myself in a position to win a medal. And really just have consistent years of making mains and winning races. And I mean, podium, more than not. I think those are, some of my biggest goals, but definitely, just kind of growing how I've grown, and having the fan base and, the merch and the stuff that I do, is, always been a goal. So it's cool to see that, but definitely those main goals are, winning races, podiuming and, just kind of being, a staple of, this guy is, one of the best is definitely, one of my goals.
Definitely. So where can people find the Sauce Team merch?
So right now I took down the website just because I was not trying to have like a bunch of items, just randomly bought at different times. So as of right now, it's just based, Instagram or Facebook Messenger, whatever. Just you can hit me up. I might bring a couple pairs to Rock Hill. Obviously, if my bag isn't too overboard, I always do that, especially first race back. Excited, just throw in everything that I can think of. But yeah, mostly just messaging me, or just, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Sick. Well, dude, excited to see you back on the series. Pumped for you, and obviously we'll see you at the races. But yeah, man, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm always stoked, and it's always cool to talk about things, and it's nice to kind of give some pre stuff before I head out there, since I've been just posting what I've been posting. So hopefully some people can get some updates in here. Especially I just got cleared, so I didn't even post that. So I guess people can maybe hear it from here, and then other than that, I just appreciate you hitting me up, and yeah, hopefully we'll be on top and can get some dope photos from you at the races. Got to be out front to get them. So
absolutely, dude. I gotta say your live streams of the World Cup races were so funny. Like,
yeah,
your reactions to them great addition to the World Cup
I know
scene.
it's always fun too, just because like I've obviously been in those moments to compare to like some of the people that just talk. So like, especially like racing them now, like I kind of can think of like a lot of the moments. But yeah, I think it's always funny. It's just like it's just fun doing it, just because that's like I've raced them, I know them all, and then just kind of seeing different stuff happen, and it's fun. I love it. It's super fun. Obviously, I don't want to do that all the time, but
Yeah, obviously we
when I
want you
am
there at the
interested,
races, but
yeah, but definitely when I can, I try to do that to make some fun content. And it's honestly it's hard to find the shit, so like I try to make it easier for people. They make it a little easier now with the YouTube, but like I know back in the past, like it'd be hard to find a way to watch the World Cup, so I try to just make it easier, and then it's kind of turned into something pretty fun. So hopefully I don't got to do it moving forward, but yeah, definitely if I do, I'll keep it as lit as possible.
Sick, man. Well, we'll see you in Rock Hill. We'll also see it in Tulsa in a couple weeks, about a month now. So
Yes, sir.
it'll be sweet, man.
Yes, sir. So I'll see you in a couple days, and yeah, we'll be back to it. So thanks for having me on, and I'll see you soon.
Absolutely, dude. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
You too. Peace.